Best things to see in Seoul.
I'm Nadine, your host for this channel.
Over 11 million people travel to Seoul every year. With the rise of K-pop in the West, it has become even more of a hot destination. What are some of the best attractions to check out on a Seoul trip? Keep watching to find out.
Make sure you hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification so that you don't miss any of our uploads.
Namsan Seoul Tower. The Namsan Seoul Tower, also known as N Seoul Tower or YTN, is an observation tower situated on Namsan Mountain in central Seoul. The tower was built in 1971 as a general radio wave tower, providing radio and TV broadcasting for the capital. It stands at 774 feet or 235.9 meters tall. Combine its height with the fact that the tower lights up as different colors at night, and Namsan Seoul Tower is a striking addition to the Seoul skyline. Locks of Love. If you're traveling with your honey or you simply want to indulge in your romantic side, try visiting the Locks of Love. If you aren't afraid of heights, make your way up to the observation deck of the Namsan Seoul Tower and witness the enormous dedication to love and romance declared on these locks. Some of them are inscribed with names, love notes, pictures, or stickers. How many locks have been placed on the fence encompassing the deck? Some say at least thousands, while others estimate there may be 1 billion now. National Museum of Korea. It's not a trip to the city if you don't visit at least a handful of museums. Your first one should be the flagship of Korean history, the National Museum of Korea. It opened in 1945 and contains all sorts of exhibits that have to do not only with history, but with art and archaeology. It is one of the most visited museums in the world, attracting an average of over 3 million people every year. Myeongdong. One of the best parts of traveling is all the new things you can buy and the cool places you can eat at. For all the popular shops and restaurants, look no further than Myeongdong. Its narrow, twisting streets may be overwhelming at first, what with all the shoppers everywhere, but you'll find everything you want in a big city here. There's tons of street food, all the best K-beauty stores, and probably the best deals on clothes and other items in all of Seoul. You may even see some cosplayers strolling by or happen upon a K-pop performance. Bukhansan National Park. You won't always be able to find a major national park in the middle of a metropolitan city, so if you're ever in Seoul, don't miss out. Visit the Bukhansan National Park and check out all the natural wonders. There are 3 major granite peaks here, which is why it's also called Samgaksan, or Triangle Mountain. Between those peaks are gorges flowing with streams and an ecosystem home to 1,300 species of plants and animals. Hikers of all levels of experience can enjoy the rugged trails here. Gyeongbokgung Palace. Take in the mighty history of Korea when walking through the halls of Gyeongbokgung Palace. It was the first and remains the largest royal palace built during the Joseon dynasty in 1395. Back then, Seoul had just been granted the title of the nation's capital. The palace is in excellent condition since the Korean government has spent a lot of time and money into restoring this gigantic complex, most of which was destroyed during the Japanese occupation. Jogyesa Temple. Buddhism is one of the major religions in South Korea, so you're sure to come across some ornate Buddhist temples. One of the coolest ones to see in the city is the Jogyesa Temple in downtown Seoul. The sacred grounds were established as early as 1395, at the start of the Joseon dynasty. The more modern temple, however, was founded in 1910. During Japanese rule, it was named Taegosa, until its name changed in 1954. The famous ancient white pine tree can be found under colorful garlands, an area known as Natural Monument 9. Lotte World. For some fun for the whole family, head on over to Lotte World. Children can enjoy the largest indoor theme park in the world or stroll on over to Lotte's outdoor amusement park known as Magic Island. Yes, it's an entire artificial island right outside, linked by a monorail. Adults can go shopping to their heart's content or learn some cool facts over at the complex's Korean Folk Museum. The recreational facility receives 7.3 million visitors annually, so expect lots of crowds. Lotte World provides a lot of entertainment and activity, so no wonder it extends to an area of over 1.3 million square feet or over 128,000 square meters. Everland. If you and the whole family aren't tired of amusement parks by this point in the trip, then you can also go to Everland Resort. Located here is Everland, the largest theme park in South Korea. It gets just as many visitors as Lotte World, so it's difficult to say which one people prefer. Among its many attractions is a water park called Caribbean Bay, a roller coaster wonderland called Magic Land, European Bay, a huge section of European-themed restaurants, and Zootopia. This last portion includes pony rides, animal shows, and a petting zoo. Raccoon Cafe. Cat cafes, dog cafes. You probably thought that was the extent of animal interactions in a dining setting. Wrong! South Korea offers an alternative to the domestic pet restaurant experience you can find in other Asian countries. Here, they have raccoon cafes. The Raccoon Cafe in Seoul is exactly what it sounds like, a coffee shop with real raccoons. There's a glass room that separates the animals from the eating area for health reasons, but humans are welcome to go into the other room to observe the raccoons. Some people have expressed concerns about the safety and ethicalness of such businesses, but raccoon cafes remain open in South Korea. Bongeunsa. Another popular temple tourists frequent in this town is the famed Bongeunsa. The Buddhist establishment was founded all the way back in 794. You'll find it at the slope of the Sudo Mountain, located across the street from the busy COEX Mall. At this temple, you not only get to take in the amazing sights, but you can live as a monk for a few hours if you wish. Bongeunsa offers visitors a temple stay program where you can take a sneak peek at monk living by eating and living and thinking like one for a small portion of the day. Ihwa Mural Village. If you came to this area over 15 years ago, you probably wouldn't recognize it much now. Ihwa-dong is among Seoul's oldest neighborhoods, a suburb that seemed to have fallen into neglect and disrepair. The Ihwa Mural Village is a revitalized neighborhood that people know well for its street murals. The major change came in 2006 at the start of the Ihwa-dong Namsan project, which involved the installation of art throughout the village by 70 different artists. Gwangjang Market. One of the best parts of traveling anywhere is the street food, and Seoul is no exception. Take a turn into the Gwangjang Market where you'll find over 5,000 shops over an area of 450,000 square feet or 42,000 square meters. Aside from being one of the biggest markets in all of South Korea, Gwangjang is also one of the oldest, having been around for over 100 years, though when it first opened, it was known as Namdaemun Market. About 65,000 people visit Gwangjang every day, a crowd made up of locals and tourists alike. Here you can find all the staple Korean street cuisines like maya gimbap, mung bean pancakes, and more. It's also a great place to find deals on souvenirs, traditional Korean medicines, and kitchen supplies. Yongma Land. During its heyday, it was probably a fun place to be, but even in its abandonment, people continue to come here. Yongma Land opened in the 1980s and was advertised as a family-friendly park. It proved entertaining enough to local families for a few years, but then the even more extravagant Lotte World opened, and suddenly people were bored with what Yongma Land had to offer. However, when it officially shut down operations in 2011, people enter its grounds to take photos of the eerie yet alluring aesthetic of a colorful theme park of days past. National Folk Museum. On your journey to the Gyeongbokgung Palace, don't forget to stop by the National Folk Museum, located within the palace's perimeters. There's no better place to learn about Korea's history than here, where you can check out the intricate replicas of historical objects. Visitors will find nearly 100,000 artifacts spread out on 3 main exhibition halls: the cycle of the Koreans, the Korean way of life, and the history of Korean people. Myeongdong Cathedral. You don't see Christian churches in too many places in Asia, but Christianity, Protestant and Catholic, is a religion quite commonly practiced in South Korea. Myeongdong Cathedral is evidence of this religion's impact on the country, serving as the national cathedral of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Seoul. Its architecture stands out amongst the other Korean edifices from around the same time. The cathedral was completed in 1898, created in the Gothic Revival style. French missionaries came to Korea in droves back then, which explains why the church looks so European. Cheonggyecheon Stream. Stroll on over to downtown Seoul and see the Cheonggyecheon Stream. The entire recreational space is referred to as Cheonggyecheon, though most people come here to see the magical river that flows through the urban renewal project. The stream runs west for 5.2 miles or 8.4 kilometers, eventually connecting to the Han River and into the Yellow Sea. Cheonggyecheon Stream wasn't always there though. During the 1960s, the water was covered with concrete, foundations for a highway. In 2003, the then mayor of Seoul started a project to restore the stream and demolish the elevated highway. Residents weren't too keen on the idea at first, but since the reopening of the stream, it has become a beloved city attraction. The Korean Demilitarized Zone. Most people know that North Korea and South Korea don't have the best of relationships. Because tensions between the two nations are so high, a buffer zone was created between North and South Korea, a place called the Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ. Inside the DMZ is the JSA, the Joint Security Area. This meeting point is where Korean negotiations take place, which haven't always ended well. Still, the DMZ remains a magnetic feature for tourists who want to see the DMZ for themselves. Bukchon Hanok Village. We've mentioned a few museums and old buildings to look at, but what about a whole village? Feel like you've stepped into 15th century Korea at Bukchon Hanok Village. The word Hanok refers to the type of traditional Korean houses that you see here. Bukchon Hanok Village is like an antique maze, with 600-year-old buildings at every turn. The village has been incredibly well preserved over the years. It's here you will find shrines and palaces, including Gyeongbokgung Palace. Before we reveal number 1, we have a question for you. What are your top 5 cities for travel destinations? Give us your list in the comments below. 1. Lotte World Tower. We mentioned Lotte World, but at number 1, we have the Lotte World Tower. This is the tallest building in South Korea, classified as a super tall skyscraper. This 1,821 foot or 555 meter tall edifice opened to the public in 2017, after 13 years of planning. Traveling to the view floor offers visitors not only a glimpse of the cityscape, but you get to stand over a glass floor known as Seoul Sky.